Hello and welcome to today's video. In this one we're going to be looking at a really simple method for making corrugated sheets from the Coke cans that we've used in the previous video. Again, it's a really simple method, just using the little tool that you can get to squeeze toothpaste out of a tube if you want to get every last drop out. I got mine quite a few years ago at this point. You can get a whole variety of them now, including ones in different colours if you really wanted to match your setup. I think they're a great little device for adding a bit of grounded realism to builds, whether it's post-apocalyptic, World War II, modern day, or even in the far future. They're a great blank canvas for heavy weathering, damage, and because they're really malleable and pliable, you can bend them and twist them into very interesting shapes and around the terrain you're making. So with my little ramble over, we'll get into the build itself. So the first thing I did was just to grab my little sheet, which I'd prepped as I went through in the previous video. I've got a little stash of those now. So this is the tool itself. It's just a really basic toothpaste tube squeezer, a couple of corrugated rollers on there that when you turn the handle it'll pull it through. So this will just make corrugated sheets off the bat. You don't need to faff around like with the cardboard method and have to try and peel the top layer off. So the internal diameter of this is 75mm, so that's as wide as this one will go. I'm sure there are wider ones, I'm sure there are narrower ones depending on which ones you pick up. Now I want all my corrugates to run lengthways, so I'm chopping this sheet in half so I can pull it through in one go and have some nice long strips on it. So as I said in the previous video, this is a really soft, supple material, so just a light scoring with a sharp blade and you'll be able to cut your sections in half really easily. I then just ran the edges over a sanding block just to make them a bit smoother so I didn't catch my fingers on them. Now the trick with this step, which I've had a variety of success with, is to try and get even pressure. So if you squeeze too much to one side, it'll pull through on an angle, and I quite like some nice even corrugates on this, although it does go slightly off towards one side at the end. And there you have one intact corrugated sheet. As mentioned before, because the material is very flexible, it's very malleable, you can twist it and batter it as much as you like, but you can keep it intact and just weather it up and it'll look great also. This next one I'm going to do something a little bit different with, so I'm going to try and damage this before I put it through the corrugator, because trying to add any extra detail on afterwards will be a bit more pain. So I'm stabbing this just with a sharp knife, just trying to put some holes and gashes and gouges in it before I run it through, so the detail is already there after it's put through the little squeezer. So same idea as before, just trying to get an even amount of pressure on the handle as I twist it through the corrugator. So to add to the damages now, I'm just giving this a bit of a twist, just to make it look a bit more weather beaten compared to the fairly pristine one that we'd already done. You can generally go to town at this stage, as you can always unbend anything that you put in to a certain extent, and adding more creases in will just give it a more weather beaten and aged look. So height wise now, comparing it to a suit of power armour, it's about the same height, so we kind of want to make that a bit smaller, as I want this more of a waist high barricade. None of this will go to waste, it'll all be used at some point, it's just prepping them for the bits that I was thinking of making. And because the material is so soft, just a quick cut and it's about done. So this is just a little corner section that I cobbled together, made of 3 printed barrels, some balsa wood for posts, and part of a meat package cleaned and the outer film stripped off, just to make a really quick base. And because we damaged it before we put it through the corrugator, all that lovely little detail is there ready to go. The idea being, the corrugate will go between all the elements and just tie it all together. Big bit of glue on the bottom just to make sure it sticks down, and just enough to fix it to the barrels itself. Public service announcement though, don't try and do this in gloves because it will get stuck to your fingers like I did. Regrets at this point, I wish I hadn't, I wish I'd taken my gloves off, but I did and I soldiered on. And then just leaving that to dry for a few minutes, it's now ready for painting and texture. And there we have the finished corner piece. Plenty of weathering on the corrugated sheets. I've added another one on top just to give a bit of higher cover, and then a good old coat of paint for the barrels and the texture on the ground. It doesn't have to be too neat because it's post-apocalyptic, plenty of rust streaks, grime, mistakes aren't noticed because it all blends in, and something really quick just to put out there. A happy coincidence and something I didn't plan at all, but I accidentally left enough space for some more detail bits to fit in the walls themselves to bulk it out and look a bit more reinforced. And I think adding in something like that just rounds out the whole look really well. So a nice little corner barricade using our corrugated sheets. Really cheap and easy to make, and help flesh out any little build that you've got, especially for post-apocalyptic scenarios like the Fallout Wasteland Warfare game. As always, I hope this little video was useful. If it was, or it wasn't, please feel free to drop a comment below and let me know. If you like what you see, have a look around the rest of my channel. There's plenty of videos up there from the last few years. And if you really like what you see, hit that subscribe button. So this is it for me from this one, but I will see you next time.